Nyinyi ni wakulima wa maana sana sehemu hii. Tulisema kwanza tupunguze gharama ya
Welcome back to Havana Media. My name is Celestine Wandia and I'll be your host for today. We will be talking about a surprising and serious moment in Kenyan politics. President William Ruto was hit by a shoe in Migori County just weeks after being publicly supported by ODM leader Raila Odinga. What does this mean for Ruto, Raila, and the political future of Nyanza? Let's break it down. During a public event in Handshake, Migori County, President Ruto was speaking to a crowd when someone in the audience threw a shoe at him. Luckily, the president blocked it and continued speaking. Security quickly arrested 3 people. This happened while Ruto was touring Nyanza, a region known for supporting Raila Odinga. A new video has come up showing exactly who threw the shoe at the president. Let's take a look.
Tunakubaliana jameni? Kwa sababu niko na viongozi wengi, mimi nataka niwahakikishie, sawa sawa, sikizeni watu wa Kuria, nyinyi ni wakulima wa maana sana sehemu hii. Tulisema kwanza tupunguze gharama ya ngojea.
Nani mjinga huyo?
Tulisema tupunguze gharama ya mbolea. Kweli au si kweli? Tulisema tupunguze gharama ya mbolea. Hiyo ngojea, wachana nao wananchi.
This incident came shortly after Raila Odinga and President Ruto made a political agreement often called a handshake. Raila had publicly supported working with Ruto to bring development to the region. Many leaders from Nyanza, including Raila's brother Oburu, welcomed Ruto and even hinted at supporting him for 2027. But not everyone was happy. Some residents and leaders still don't trust the president or feel the government has ignored them.
There, we are fighting for our rights and we are elected to do the same. The governor is not a given mandate to fight for his people. He is given mandate to serve his people, and he is given resources to serve his people. This is the time to serve your people. It is not the time to fight for their rights. Which right more than what they eat? Which right are you fighting for more than the roads? Which rights are you fighting for more than the hospitals? Which rights are you fighting for more than the water? Which rights are you fighting for more than the electricity? Which ones do you want us to fight for? Which ones do you want us to go to in the streets and fight for? And if you want to fight, there is a lot of space elsewhere where you can do that fighting. For us, our people are waiting for this service. This is the time to work, and our people are waiting for it, and they are not waiting to eat the shares of anybody. We are going to eat our shares, which are given to us rightfully because we are taxpayers. Like any other Kenyan, we are also taxpayers, and our people have a right, and I don't know where else you want to fight. We are fighting for that in the Senate. We are fighting for that in Parliament. We are fighting for that with His Excellency, the President who is seated here, is the head of the executive. So let him do his part and let the governors also do their part. And let us serve our people.
Throwing a shoe is not just rude. In politics, it is a strong sign of protest. It shows that some people in Nyanza still reject Ruto even with Raila's endorsement. Government leaders called the act shameful and said the presidency must be respected. UDA leaders in Migori apologized and said the shoe throwers do not represent the local community. Raila's team stayed silent, mostly. They didn't defend the act, but they also didn't speak loudly against it.
A very worried person. Not because this is an isolated incident. Of course, you will remember that we've had such cases. In 2014, when former President Uhuru Kenyatta was in Migori, was confronted by a similar situation. We've had a situation where the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga was in Kilifi, and someone struck him with a stick. And it's happened even in the US, in advanced democracies. You saw last year, July, when there was an attempt on the life of the president now, Donald Trump. And way back when there was a shoe thrown at George W. Bush. But yesterday's incident is worrying because of what has happened. That is an affront to our democracy. It undermines our democracy. It undermines, because the head of state is the father figure. The head of state is what holds the country together. It's the face of the nation, you know. And when there's an attack, whether it was by accident or any other means whatsoever, I think we've taken a joke way too far, some. Yeah. And this has been because, and look back at where we've come from, you know. There are times when people will not even attempt to boo a president. We've had a time in the history of this country where people will even in hushed tones be discussing the head of state. Yes. But we made that institution so casual, you know, in insults. You have young people generating AI images of a president in a coffin. You have people discussing and disparaging the president and the presidency. Look at what happened yesterday, for instance, in Wamunyoro. The deputy president, this is the second time the former deputy president is warning the president that do not attempt to come to Mlima again, since some of your people have been attacking the former president. Such words that have been used by leaders, by people around the country, someone is trying to put the words in action, and that is extremely dangerous. You can imagine if that shoe was a bullet. And we have to look at the history of other countries and people joke about the security of a president. You know, Sam, what happens in the West Africa many, many times, and you've seen assassination and there's never peace in those countries, is because this is how it starts. You find people toying with ideas and people coming out. It took a very bold step for someone to pick their shoe and throw at the head of state. I can tell you that is not something that he thought about it at that spot. That is something that that person has contemplated for many, many times. And now he's found a right time because probably there was a bit of lapse in security and decided to throw a shoe. I want to send this warning, and this actually has to go to the team that makes arrangement for the head of state, that we must secure the head of state. Today, Sam, and people should not imagine that William Ruto is a father. William Ruto is a husband. William Ruto has a community that he comes from. You can imagine today what probably are radio stations in the Kalenjin radio stations, even though the president is a president of a country, of where he comes from. It is easy to plunge this country into chaos by very, very silly acts like what we saw yesterday. And like I was saying, what has happened even in West African countries, and you see coups and coups, is because of situations where people do not have patience. People want power very quickly. People want to get into office. People do not respect the office of the presidency because of some leaders who have come out to use very demeaning words on the head of state. We must protect the presidency. We must protect the president because that is our democracy and that is where we are as a nation. We must all condemn what happened. It was an isolated act, but a very, very unfortunate act, and it is worrying.
Online, Kenyans were divided. Some were angry, others joked about it. Some said it shows people are frustrated with the government, especially about the cost of living. This shows that Ruto still has a long way to go if he wants full support from Nyanza. Yes, Raila is helping him reach the region, but not everyone is ready to follow. Some leaders still see Ruto as an outsider. The shoe incident may not break the handshake, but it's a warning sign. Support on paper doesn't always mean support on the ground. Looking ahead to 2027 election, Ruto is clearly trying to expand his support into former opposition zones, but the Migori incident shows that not everyone is buying into that plan. Raila's support helps, but Ruto still needs to convince regular voters. If the handshake does not bring real change, people might turn their backs on both leaders. This story is far from over. Was the shoe just one angry protester, or is it a sign of deeper problems ahead? Let us know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe for more deep dives into Kenyan politics. I have been your host. My name is Celestine Wandia.